All right, welcome back to the show, everybody. This is episode number 17. And today I want to talk about what makes you think you're not going to get better. Okay. I did a Facebook Live post on this just recently. And so I've been thinking about this kind of thing a lot lately. Because a lot of guys I talk to are just clearly convinced that there's nothing that can be done. They can't get any better. There's nothing that can be done. They've been told that's it. Or they think that their injury is so severe that they're just screwed. And as much as I understand that some injuries can only be recovered so much, right? If your spine is permanently changed from injury, then of course, you have to, the level to which you can recover kind of changes, right? The bar goes lower. After a surgery, you might have, nuts and bolts in your body like I do in my arm. And so, for example, my arm, I've probably said this before, but I can't straighten it all the way. It's about 15 degrees shy of full extension, which, affects my golf swing a little bit. It affects my slap shot in hockey a little bit. But I also had chronic pain for 8 years. And so I know that after that surgery, I could have just said, oh, well, I guess I'm screwed. I'm going to be in pain. This is as good as it gets. But I didn't. I decided that, look, there's a lot of other ways of working with the human body out there. Why don't I try and find what they are and see what they can do for me? And so today on the show, I really want to encourage you guys to take on that mindset. All right, and before we go any further, I want to remind you the podcast here is on Stitcher and iTunes, as anybody listening would know. I am creating a new website that's going to be out soon, a week or two. Should be ready, should be done. And on that, not only am I going to continue to post articles and my podcast, but I'm also going to have links to a couple supplement companies that I recommend and a company called HempWorks that is CBD oil for pain and other symptoms, which I really think is a great alternative to opiates for a lot of people. I mean, again, it doesn't work for everybody, but it works for a lot of people, and it's worth a try. Nothing works for everybody. I've been a nurse for 9-10 years now. Opiates don't work for everybody, okay? Nothing works for everybody. You have to explore all the options available to you and figure out what works for you. That's the point of this whole podcast today. So I'll post on my, I'll shout it out on my podcast. I'll post it on my Facebook group, which, by the way, there are two different ones. There's my Facebook page, which is just Clear Guide to Health. But then there's also a group that I created, and it's High Performance Veteran. So please, guys, any of you guys listening, just join it on Facebook, High Performance Veteran. Join the conversation. Talk about why you think you can't get better. What's stopping you? What works, what doesn't? I know there's a lot of you guys out there that have fell out of a helicopter or something like that, and you had bad broken bones or whatever the case might be. You had an IED explode on you. And so you got, real severe injuries from that. You've had real big surgeries. And I know, I get it. You think that there's anything can be done. But let's talk for a minute about all the different things that are out there that are available. And I'm sure there's some I don't even know about, maybe. If not, hit me up. Hit me up on Facebook. Let's tell me what you have done that has helped. Or maybe what you've heard has helped from other people, and let's explore it together. I want to see if I can incorporated into what I offer to people. Okay, so let's start going through. Let's start with just Western medicine, okay? So Western medicine is, right, for musculoskeletal injuries, right? So when I say musculoskeletal injuries, I'm talking about injuries to the bones, muscles, tendons, and ligaments. That's the musculoskeletal system, okay? It's the most common problem that a veteran has coming out of the military. PTSD is a big problem, and musculoskeletal injuries are a bigger problem. They're more common, okay? Depending on what sort of statistics you look at from the VA, it's about 56%, give or take, of people who come out of the military with back problems, knee problems, shoulder problems, neck problems, headaches. All of those things are typically, right, those are musculoskeletal problems. Okay, so with Western medicine, the treatments that are used are surgeries, okay? And these can be very helpful, if not completely necessary, for you to function. And they can range from, let me see, so if you have ligament tears and ACL tear, rotator cuff injury, right? That's another real common one. Bulging discs in your back, broken bones. Let me try and think of what else I can think of. Those sorts of things in general tend to require surgery, right? There is a serious change in some part of your body that makes it so that in order for it to even come close to working the way it used to, you have to mechanically repair that tissue or bone, okay? Then, once that surgery is done, sorry, I'm a little sick today. Then you have to continue to heal the injury, right, to see how much function you can recover and what you can do to make any residual pain go away. Now, the thing is that's where most people stop, right? They get a surgery and they just figure that's going to fix everything. That is absolutely not the case, guys. It is very rare that someone just gets a surgery, the surgery's done, and they're all good to go, okay? It happens. I know it happens. In medicine, there's always an exception, okay? So I'm sure I get people telling me, well, I was fine after my surgery. I'm sure you were, okay? But most people aren't. And that's kind of who I'm talking to. So what happens after surgery with Western medicine? Okay, well, immediately after surgery, you're going to get opiates, which are valuable at that point in time because otherwise the pain would be overwhelming and the overstimulation of your nervous system would be detrimental to your healing. So, but that's only in the short term that you're going to use those opiates to just kind of get you through that first part of recovery where pain is severe. Okay, as your body goes through its own process of healing. The other thing you're going to do that the VA will offer you is physical therapy, which is valuable. What I find is physical therapy usually, though, only lasts a really short period of time, right? They don't really give you physical therapy for all that long. Physical therapy, generally speaking, is more designed for that recovery right after a surgical process where they're really trying to make sure that your range of motion, it's really important right after that you move a lot after a surgery, whatever the joint is, whatever the area of the problem is that you move it. And that's kind of what physical therapy is designed to do. And I'm generalizing, there's probably some physical therapists listening, and I don't mean to oversimplify what you guys do, but I'm trying to kind of make it simple for people who don't understand it. So physical therapy, generally is a matter of taking the injured area of the body, moving it around a lot, looking at what muscles have been affected by the injury, and then working with them to either relax those muscles or strengthen ones that have become weakened by the process, or strengthen the ones that are going to they're going to be important to the stability, right? Like shoulder injuries. Let's talk about that for a second. For example, very complex network of musculature, very complex joint, and the muscles of the rotator cuff, right? There's the rotator cuff that most people think of, which is the ligamentous cup that keeps the ball in the socket in your shoulder joint, right? Because that's the kind of joint it is. But what people don't usually know or think about is the complex of muscles that control the shoulder, and they all work in a very coordinated fashion. So if one of your muscles is, let's say, chronically locked up tight from an injury, then the other muscles aren't going to be able to function the way they're supposed to, because they all rely on each other, right? They all balance each other out. So that's part of physical therapy, is to take a look at that musculature and balance it back out so that you get full range of motion of your shoulder, ideally, without any pain, right? The goal, of course, is to return to 100% function with no pain. Now, sometimes surgery and physical therapy, along with some use of painkillers, judicious use of painkillers, can solve the problem. All right? And for those of you that happened to, glad to hear it. I want to talk to the other guys, though, who have gotten surgery and physical therapy and they're still not 100% or even close to it. Or let's just say they're not, haven't reached your full potential. Okay? Like I've reached my full potential on my arm. It doesn't straighten all the way, and that's because there's a physical blockage there that isn't going to be removed, but it functions as good as it ever did. So, you know, it's not 100% return to normal, but it's fine. It functions great. I got no problems with it anymore. Doesn't bother me. Right? So that's what we want, is even if it can't, you know, return to 100% what it was before your injury, hopefully we get it to the point where it at least just doesn't bother you anymore. It doesn't really affect the stuff you do that much, at least to the point where you just don't care. You know, if it does a little bit, it's just, whatever, it's tolerable. Okay, so to get back to what I was talking about, physical therapy, surgery are great. Judicious use of painkillers, sometimes that solves the problem. A lot of times it doesn't. And what you need to do then is to continue along a journey of using a lot of other methods until you figure out what it is your body as an individual, what your body needs to reach that full potential. Okay, let's start with some simple stuff, some other things, right? That are often included in physical therapy even, but stretching and massage. Let's talk about stretching. All right. You want to get real deep into stretching. That's what yoga is, right? That's like the most advanced, developed system of stretching the musculature of the body and strengthening it at the same time that human beings have come up with to this point. It's very valuable. I've done yoga lots of times on and off throughout my life. Part of it was to recover my arm. That was it really helped me recover actually my shoulder. I wounded the elbow here, but my shoulder was really affected. And so yoga really helped me regain use of my shoulder. Now, there's lots of different kinds of yoga. Some guys really don't like doing yoga. They just feel lame about doing it, and that's fine. You know, you got to find some stuff that you want to do that you like, or else you're not going to do it, right? Because the important part of any of these therapies, once you're done with the surgery and physical therapy, if you're not 100% yet, is the stuff you do ongoing to recover your function. It's going to take time, perseverance, commitment, and consistency. Okay? Everybody wants the magic bullet, right? They want to take a pill and they're done. They want to do something for a couple weeks and everything goes away. Well, come on, guys. Most stuff doesn't work that way, right? We all know that. As much as sometimes we don't like it, That's the way it is. So get over it. Realize that it's valuable to you to recover that function, right? You could be with your kids more without pain and function. You could do more with your kids. You could do more yourself. I'm an outdoorsman, so you hear me talk a lot about it's wintertime right now here in Colorado, and I'm getting ready to do some snowboarding. I want to be able to do that without feeling like an old man. I'm 42 years old. I don't want to feel like I'm 80. I want to go snowboarding. When the weather clears and it's in the summer, I'm going fishing and I'm going hunting. And that takes, a lot of physical, those are all very physical things. So I want to be able to do that just for myself. I have a 12-year-old son. He's going to come with me and do those things. I need to teach him to do those things. I need to be in shape so that I can show him how to do that. Okay? My wife, if I'm always in pain or distracted by injury and pain, and I'm not entirely present, I just can't be the good husband that I want to be. I mean, I could be a good husband, but I can't be the best. I can't be the best that I want to be. Pain and disability is going to affect your sex life. It's going to affect the things that you're going to be able to do just with your wife in general, whatever it is. So there's a lot of things. Your life with your friends, right? Are you not doing things right now with your friends because are you left out because you're in pain and you don't quite have the function to be able to participate? That's a bummer. That's not okay. You start getting isolated, right? You start getting depressed because you can't do all these things. You guys deserve better. And like I said on my Facebook Live is, you're part of the greatest fighting force the world has ever known. Okay. So what does that mean? It means you were trained to be disciplined, to work on a team, to persevere through difficult conditions, no matter how you felt about it, right? You just embrace the suck and do your job. So you did that. A lot of you guys did that in the field, okay? Or just in boot camp. I mean, for you guys who aren't combat veterans but still were injured on the job, maybe you were, part of the mechanic pool or whatever. Still, maybe you were injured. Everybody's job is important, right? Because you're on a team. So still, either way, you still had to understand discipline, perseverance, and doing shit even though you didn't want to, which is what discipline is. So why wouldn't you come out of the military, use those skills you developed to better yourself as an individual, as a free American, with the opportunities to better yourself? Okay? So, let me get back to the methods. Stretching, yoga, massage. Okay, let's hit on massage a little bit. So massage, there's a lot of different kinds of massage, kind of like yoga, right? You guys all probably have these really funny images in your head of, like massage, just, somebody rubbing lotion on you with nice music in the background, and, it makes you feel uncomfortable, da-da-da-da-da. And yeah, that's one kind of massage. But I can tell you from personal experience, I was a massage therapist for many years, and I worked on athletes, and specifically with injury recovery. There's a lot of different kinds, you guys, and it's extremely valuable. And in my opinion, the best kind tends to hurt. And that's just the nature of the beast, right? When you have musculature that's locked up because of an injury and you need to mechanically work on that tissue to get it to return to normal function, it's going to hurt. So don't discount it. If you guys think massage is BS and, is for pansies or whatever, you're not doing yourself any favors. I mean, I'd say the same thing about yoga, man, is if you just say that's for, as for fairies or whatever, I'm sorry. That's just dumb. And you're not going to be able to take advantage of the things that are really going to help you. Okay? All right. other methods that maybe you guys don't think are valuable or don't know are valuable other than stretching. All right, acupuncture. Let's talk about acupuncture next, because that's something actually the VA does notice as very valuable, or does recognize as very valuable, and they are offering it to veterans more and more. And it's extremely effective for musculoskeletal problems and the control of pain. There has been a lot of research done more and more demonstrating that it's more effective than opiates. And that doesn't surprise me. I was an acupuncturist for years, and I know the value of it. Opiates, and I'm a nurse too, and currently I work as an orthopedic nurse, so I help people recover out of surgery, mostly like hip and knee replacements, but and shoulder repairs. And I also work in an emergency room, so I throw out opiates at people like it's nobody's business, and I see the reactions and how much it helps and how much it doesn't help. So they have their place, but they're absolutely not a long-term solution to anybody's problem, period. They're just not. They cause more problems long-term than it's worth. Okay? And I know there's people that think that, well, I have to have them. That's the only option. And I beg to differ. And I think you owe it to yourself to rule out, if nothing else, rule out everything else. So that you at least know for certain, after doing everything possible, that opiates are the only thing that can help you. And I'll bet there's none of you listening that have done that. I'm just going to throw that out there. Challenge me. If you're out there and you know for sure that's the only thing that's going to help you, because you've tried absolutely everything else, then I want to hear from you. Let's talk about it. Okay, so acupuncture, super effective for especially musculoskeletal conditions. It can be very, very useful at relaxing tensed muscles, and increasing local circulation of your materials in your body, which is going to help heal blood, oxygen, other important chemicals. Your body is a biochemical system. It's an electrobiochemical system. So acupuncture, very, very helpful, very useful. What else? Let's go on. Let's talk a little bit about then internally taken materials, right? So supplements, drugs, pharmaceutical drugs, and supplements. Supplements being naturally occurring substances that you take. The idea being the machinery of your body, that biochemical machinery, if you want to call it that, at work in your body requires certain raw materials to work, right? It can't do certain things if it doesn't have the materials it needs. So you have to provide it with those materials. Most people do not have a diet sufficient enough in those nutrients to provide the body with everything that it needs. And I would even argue that the people who do have a very, very good diet, very complete diet, even then, when your body is under an excessive amount of stress for whatever reason, like recovering from an injury, it would still be wise to supplement your body with extra nutrients, because it's going to be using up a lot of stuff, right? In working to heal that, your diet might give you a good amount of the nutrients your body needs to heal, but it might need more than what your diet can provide, which is why the supplement industry is so big, which is why supplements are so useful, is because it can be difficult to get absolutely everything in the amounts your body needs solely through your diet. I think some people can, but you're going to have to focus on your diet. I mean, you're going to have to get real detailed on it, and really pay attention to what you're eating and how much you're eating. Okay? So supplementation is super valuable. Now, supplementation is also really confusing. There's so much BS out there that it can be hard to understand, which is why I'm here too. I know that. I've studied it for a long time and sorted through a lot of crap, which is also why I have a couple companies that I specifically work with that you can find on my website. It's Longevity and the Global Healing Center. And the gentleman, Dr. Edward Group, who runs the Global Healing Center, is a Special Forces veteran. He was a Ranger. So he understands what you guys go through. But they produce, both of those companies produce really high quality supplements in forms that are going to be readily accessible and absorbable to the body and help you recover. Now, the other thing that's really important when I talk about supplements is, look, when you're taking pharmaceuticals, there is a couple things, right? There's the dosage and then how often you take it. And supplements are no different. So you have to know, you have to have if you're doing it right, you're going to have a sort of prescription of the supplementation you're going to follow. Now, a lot of times, if you just go to your local store, whatever, your health food store, and you're just going to say, oh, I heard this is good, and you pick it up and you start taking it with the instructions on the bottle, I can tell you most of the time those dosages are too low. When you look at the research that's been done on that supplement, yes, it helps XYZ, but you have to look at how much you have to take. So your dosage is very important, and that's where most people go wrong with supplements and don't get the benefits from them, is because they're not taking the amount they should, or they're taking crappy supplements that your body really doesn't absorb. Now, what I'm going to add here with supplements is the Farm Bill that was just signed by the House and the Senate, and it's just waiting Trump's signature, and he says he'll sign it. Legalizes hemp production in the United States, which is incredible, which is great. What that opens up to you guys is the use of CBD oil, right? Which is THC free. You can get THC free through my website, through the company I work with. THC free CBD oil, so that you will not get popped on a piss test like you're smoking marijuana, right? You won't. You can get the medicinal benefits of that plant without having to worry about your job being threatened, right? And having to hide it. You could take this stuff being active duty and not worry about getting popped on a piss test. So don't rule it out because of the way it's been treated in the past. CBD oil derived from the hemp plant, not marijuana, is a different thing. Excuse me. So that's all really very valuable, but you do need some guidance on how to recover some of that, right? For those of you guys with real serious degenerative processes going on because of bones that have been broken in your back or knees, one of the best and really one of the only things you can do to help slow that degeneration is providing your body with certain chemical components that are going to allow it to maintain the structure that's left, or encourage the body to build that structure back up. And that's the other valuable component of supplementation. And here's something that you got to think about, right? Supplements are different from pharmaceuticals because, generally speaking, supplements are providing your body with what's needed to treat the root of the problem. Okay? The other supplement natural medicine method that is really probably the best in the world, I think, hands down, is Chinese herbal medicine. It's the best. It's awesome. The problem a lot of Americans have with Chinese herbal medicine is how you have to take it. The best way to take it is to make it into tea, and it tastes like crap, and people just hate doing that. So more and more in the United States, people are developing methods of delivery where you don't compromise the quality of the herbal formula you're taking, while at the same time it's in a method of ingesting that that's easy to deal with, easy for you to take. You don't have to put up with a lot of stuff. So I could go on for hours about Chinese herbal medicine. I have a previous podcast. It's one of the earlier episodes. It's like number 7 or 8, I think, that talks a little bit about that. So the difference then with supplementation, natural medicine, and then pharmaceutical medicine, by and large, really just treats symptoms. It doesn't often treat the root of the problem. It just forcibly alters the way the body is operating in order to get rid of the symptoms. I think is sort of the best way I can kind of try and describe it in a simple way. Again, there are some exceptions. I'm kind of thinking of things as I'm rambling here. But by and large, for sure, pharmaceutical medicines treat symptoms. Everybody generally would agree with that. I think that that I've spoken to. Now that has its place. That can be very important and that can be necessary, and it has its place. They both have their place, right? The best way to do it is to combine all these different tools that are out there in a combination that fits you just right. So you want to educate yourself on everything that's possible, what is known to help your condition, and then create a strategy that you can, in a plan that you can follow over time to get results. That's what I want to do for you. And that's the only way to recover. You can't just take a shot in the dark here and there and then give up every year or something like that. Like that just doesn't work. It has to be systematic. It has to be systematic what you decide to do, how you do it, and then how you evaluate the results and modify that system until you get what you need. Okay? And along those lines, then you're going to need support along the way, because there's going to be easy days and there's going to be hard days, and you can't give up, right? Don't give up. Keep going. So, let's see. I'm trying to think of other things other methods. Oh, I know what I wanted to talk about. Yeah, so the other thing that can't be overlooked is 2 things I'm going to talk about. One, exercise. And there's a million different ways to exercise. So you need to develop a way of keeping your body moving so that your musculature stays in good shape, which the majority of pain comes from dysfunction of the musculature. It's usually either the muscles or the bones. Okay? Oh, which brings me to another one. So let's talk about exercise for a second. Same sort of thing. If you're using exercise, which you should, to keep yourself healthy or to rehabilitate an injury, again, it needs to be a very specific program of rehabilitation. And it needs to be performed consistently and adapted over time as you get results or don't get results. You can't just try one way of doing it and then it doesn't work and just go, oh, that's it, I'm screwed. I mean, you cannot have that attitude of failure and giving up. You just can't. You just can't. You just have to keep going no matter what. It's not a failure if you learn something from it. So as long as you learn something from the experience, then you're moving in the right direction, right? Like, who was it? Benjamin Franklin or Alexander Graham Bell? I can't remember. Was it? I figured I didn't learn one way to create the light bulb. I learned 1,000 ways not to create the light bulb. Something like that. I'm pulling that out of my ass. But the point being, right, he wouldn't have succeeded if he gave up, because after 100 tries, he was like, this can't be done. He kept going and figuring out, okay, I learned something from that. That's not the way to do it. So we ruled that out. Let's keep going and figure something else out. So all of these methods are like that. You have to keep working on it, not give up on the method before it's too soon, Okay? So exercise is super important. And then I was talking about the bones, where the pain comes from. A lot of pain comes from joints, especially in the back and neck, right? The spine. This is super common in the spine. Is your joints, kind of come out of place a little bit. They should be like this. They end up twisted like that. If you never get that put back in place, it's just your muscles are freaking out trying to put your bones back in place. There's pain coming from that joint. There's pain from those muscles freaking out. So who remedies those kinds of problems? That is the role of a chiropractor. Okay? Chiropractic medicine is extremely valuable, extremely effective, as long as you know what to use it for. And of course, with all of these things we're talking about, of course, it goes without saying that you have to find somebody who's good at what they do, right? Right? You can't take your car to get fixed by a mechanic who doesn't know what the hell they're doing and just be like, well, I don't know, it's still broken. I took it to a mechanic. Well, you took it to a crappy mechanic. All right? So sometimes you got to go through a few providers. Like, you might know that chiropractic is going to help you, but you might need to go through a couple of them before you find one who really knows what they're doing. Now, my goal, of course, with ClearGuide is also to help you guys know how to evaluate a provider and try and vet those people so that you at least have a better chance of finding the right person the first time. So chiropractic care, very important. Back, anything in your spine. Your neck, your hips, your neck, your spine, your low back, and your neck. Not usually your mid back. Your mid back doesn't usually come out of joint. It's usually low back and your neck. But that can cause serious problems for people's entire lifetimes. People whose necks are out of place will have headaches their whole life. And if they don't ever and those joints can stay out of place. They don't use, right? Sometimes your body will return to normal function. It's trying to get back to that way, but sometimes it can't on its own. It has to have someone else manipulate the body to get it to go back to normal. Chiropractic is a perfect example of that. Okay, then the last one is your own mind. All right, let's talk about mindfulness. Okay, this can be especially effective when it comes to pain. So there's been lots of studies done with certain kinds of meditation and mindfulness, and that they do reduce pain. Okay, mindfulness can be anything, though. My favorite mindfulness activity, personally, is fly fishing. Or fishing in general, but especially fly fishing. Because I don't think about anything else but catching that fish. While I'm out there, right, your mind just focuses in automatically. Hockey also. Like, you're out there on the rink, moving around, skating. It's such a fast sport. I'm not thinking about what the hell I'm going to do later. I'm not thinking about, anything but what's going on in front of me at that moment. That's mindfulness. Most people just imagine Zen Buddhist meditation, the sitting meditation. That's the most difficult form of mindfulness to cultivate. It's extremely valuable. It's super great. I've done a lot of it. I love meditating. It has tremendous value. But there's a lot of different ways to do it, is my point. Another super valuable method that the Chinese have developed over thousands of years is Qigong, or Tai Chi. Most people understand Tai Chi. They don't know about Qigong, but they're really kind of the same thing. Tai Chi is a type of Qigong. Really, it's a series of breathings and movements that stimulate the body's own functions to a high degree, and can be very valuable with pain, especially chronic pain. If you're someone who has gone through everything, done everything you can to kind of recover and heal, and you still just have some pain because that's just the nature of the injury you have, at that point in time, Tai Chi, Qigong, meditation can be one of your most valuable assets. You just have to find the way to do it that you like, that suits you. And there's so much of it out there. But again, if you try one kind, like let's say you try Tai Chi and you say, this is crap, I hate this is lame, I just can't do it, I feel like a dork. And then you just say mindfulness is bullshit, I'm not going to do it. Well, you can't do that. You have to understand that mindfulness and meditation is proven to help pain. You have to find the way of the method of mindfulness and meditation that suits you, that gives you results and is something you like doing. Because again, I'm going to go back to this. What's it going to take? Perseverance and consistency over time. You just have to. And what else are you doing? If you're not working to improve yourself, then you're spiraling downwards. Who wants to do that? Come on. You guys are veterans. You need to be high performance veterans. I understand that it's difficult for you to get out of the military, and it's such a passion for being in the military that losing that career hurts. I want you to consider that now that you're a citizen, a civilian, and a veteran, that being a high performance American is very important. I was never in the military. I've always been a civilian. And it really saddens me to see you guys come back and, just feel left out, not know what to do, and just live mediocre lives. You're better than that. You're an American military veteran. You're better than that. Okay? I know it takes a shift of mind. It takes changes in attitudes. You have to adjust to civilian life and how you operate in civilian life, because the military world is different. And that's what I'm trying to help provide you guys too, is the support system to create that in your life. America needs you. America needs strong, independent, capable military veterans to help people understand, to help civilians understand the value of the freedom we have. And talking about it is one thing, but living it is another. And what you developed in the military, you need to come out and show the rest of these civilians the value of what you learned. You need to demonstrate through your own life. This is an important mission. You need to demonstrate through your own life the value of discipline, of teamwork, and of perseverance, and just working through the hard times and not letting it get to you. You guys all did that. And those are skills that most civilians never develop. And now more than ever, civilians in America need to learn that stuff. And you guys are perfectly positioned to teach them, to demonstrate it. Lead from the front. Right? Lead from the front. You demonstrate it. You show them. I had this injury. I'm not going to let it stop me. I'm going to become the greatest person I can, because I have the opportunity in the United States, unlike anywhere else in the world, to become a high performance human being. That's what we do here. That's what we do in the United States. So come on, guys, let's get at it. It's out there. Look, overcoming your body's tendency to break down is the best classroom that you could ever ask for learning to be the best you can be. It's not a curse that you were injured. It's a blessing. It gives you an opportunity to overcome. It gives you the opportunity to become a champion. to learn to do things better than anyone else. And you have a whole brotherhood, sisterhood of veterans that are willing to help. And you have civilians that are willing to help, like me. So what's stopping you? Why the hell are you sitting back and saying it's impossible and giving up? That's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. You can do better. I'm here to help. That's about all I can think of for today, guys. I hope you like that one. It's been on my mind. I've been going over it more and more. So before I go, I want to remind you, please come on the Facebook group. I want to start interacting with you guys more. I want to start communicating directly with you guys. Those of you that listen, it's High Performance Veteran is the group on Facebook, and then my page is Clear Guide to Health. And you'll recognize the logo, the medical cross with the path going through it. I know on Stitcher, mine still shows up as the red, white, and blue cross with the path. But I've switched over to, on most of my stuff, the desert camo cross with the path through it, but it's the same. So you'll recognize that on the Facebook group. You'll know you're on the right one. It's Clear Guide to Health at Clear Guide 2, and that's the number 2. You can find me at Twitter, on Twitter too. If you guys like tweeting like the president does, you can find me there. You can find me on LinkedIn. But I'd really like to interact with you guys on the Facebook page. Go to High Performance Veteran and get on there. The website will be coming out soon. I'm also writing a book that's really going to bring together all these ideas, all this stuff I talk about on the podcast. But any of you guys, you listen to this and you think, yeah, maybe I shouldn't give up. Maybe there is a chance. And you're hearing what I'm saying. Come onto the Facebook group, connect with me, or email me at peter@clearguidetohealth.com. And let's do a consultation phone call. Let's just talk. Let's get on the phone and talk. I want to hear what's going on with you. And please give me the opportunity, it's free of charge, to talk to you about what's possible, about what can be done, what you haven't done yet, how that might be helpful, what you're looking at. And let's talk about it. I haven't served my country in the military, but I want to serve my countrymen. Please give me the opportunity. Just connect with me. Let's talk. Okay? Thanks for listening, guys. Remember, I got your 6.